I'm Wally from Black Dot Energy, and this is the maintenance and PIMD videos on the David Webster hot water plant and the necessary checks and requirements that needs to be done on this plant. These videos we're doing to ensure service delivery. For WITS, it's key that we have a very high level of service delivery for the students and a continuous supply of hot water. This second video in this range of videos is all about the filtration system. So in the first video, we did the initial checks and we've potentially identified that there's a flow problem in terms of a flow and a circulation to the gas burners. For that, we've installed filters in the line because every time we have a municipal shutdown of water supply and the water supply comes back on, what tends to happen is that all that debris and rust and sand and all the dirt elements gets flushed into the pipes again whenever that water comes back. And that's why we've done the filtration to protect, in fact, the Renai burners and the circulation towards the pumps. So there's two main filtration systems. The one is on the main circulation line to the pump, and the second is the filters on the Renai burners. On this one, we're now going to do firstly the main filter, and this is a cycle of once a week that needs to be flushed. Let me show you the main filter quickly. So this is the main filter on the circulation line that circulates the water from the tank to the Renai gas burners. This filter is a high pressure. It can handle 8 bar and 60 degrees, and that basically filters all the water circulated to the Renai burners and keeps all the debris away from the burners. Inside here we've got a 5 micron filter. So to flush this really once a week, all that's needed is this little flush valve at the bottom is to open and flush that for a few seconds. Just like that is sufficient to flush out all the debris. This filter has been installed in the following way, and I'm going to disassemble it to show you that in fact how this filter works and how the discs inside it looks. So in this line we've got a bypass line, and you'll see the valves at the back is closed and these valves are open. So currently the pump pumps through the filter to the Renai burners. When we open this one, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the 2 bypass valves and we're going to shut off the filter line. So now we've isolated the flow through the filter, but we've got a secondary flow at the back so that the system can still keep on running. The first thing we do is we alleviate the pressure in the filter. There we go, and the pressure is relieved out of the filter. To open the filter, it's really as easy as popping open the valve or the bracket. It unclips. The main supporting bracket is taken off. And this is how the system looks. So all that this is a range of discs that's compressed together through this little bracket at the bottom. And what happens is that the water basically flows on the outside through the filters on the inside to there. And that's the component that we flush out. So if we open the valve at the top, all the debris that is collected out the outside is flushed out of the system. And that's how we ensure that with this 5 micron filter that we keep all the dirt and debris away from the Renai burners. To reassemble it, it's as simple as just pushing back the disc cartridge, repositioning the outer cover, and reinstalling the bracket. With the bracket repositioned in place, all we do is we hook the bracket back and the filter is reassembled. So from here, we again close the valve at the bottom. We open the side valves and you can hear the water flushing back. And very important, remember to close the bypass valves again. So this is the section on the main filter. Let me quickly go over to the Renai burners and then I'll show you how to clean the filters on the Renai gas burners. So the second component is, now that we've cleaned the main filter, is in fact to do the individual filters at each of the Rinnai burners. And the way that we do that is we only need to shut off the water supply, because otherwise the filter sits in the water fluid line. If you remove the filter, you're going to have high pressure water spraying you in the face. So the way we do that is we close the two cold and hot water incoming and outgoing pipes on each of the burners. So you'll see that each burner has its own cold and hot pipe. So we close that off completely. And then what I've done is I made this nice little copper tube tool which has got a slit in it, because the filter in the Rinnai burner has also got these tricky little components. We then slot that on the inside of the filter and just remove these. These aren't supposed to be tight, it's supposed to be just finger tight, but because it's an awkward position, it helps to use the tool and not a piece of pliers, because you will break the plastic component. So this is how the little Rinnai filter looks. It's a little small mesh filter. I would gauge this at roughly about 200 micron. So remember, our main filter is a 5 micron, so really the chances that you could get dirt here is very minimal. But again, it is a maintenance component that we check. So this has got a male-female hook. We unhook that, and in fact there's a small piece of debris in this filter. So what we do is we then open the cold water a little bit. There we go, so we get a flow of water, and then what we do is rinse off this little filter. Make sure that it's nice and clean, and the mesh is perfectly clean. We close that off, re-hook it in the male-female position. Make sure that the little rubber grommet is in there as well. We insert it back into the groove. We finger tighten that. We use our little tool just to give it another half a turn. There we go, maybe 2 or 3 turns. That's it, and that's enough tension. And we open the cold and hot water, and that concludes the servicing of the filters. So once this is done, that then should give you a complete flow and circulation through the gas burners. If there was an error code that indicates that the filters needs to be cleaned, those are the 2 processes: main filter and then the 4 individual filters on the Rinnai burners. This concludes the video on cleaning the filters. This is in fact a process that should be done about once a week, at least the main filters, and then the Rinnai filters, let's say once a month, to ensure that we get all the dirt and debris out. If it happens that there's continuous water interruption from Joburg municipality, it can then require that you clean it more, because every time the system drains down and we have the municipal water coming back in, it flushes all the grime and dirt and soil and roots and everything back into the municipal supply. So if there's been a lot of interruptions, do it more frequently, but the main filter once a week and then these once a month. Please watch the rest of our technical videos for other technical support and training.